Hi everyone, my name is Rosalind Yukich and this is the first video on this channel. I actually do have another channel. I'll leave a link below in case you want to check that out. But this is the first video on this channel. And why am I recording this video today? Well, today I am celebrating the first goal that I have met on my weight loss journey. And this has been a long journey. Those who know me know that it's been an up and down journey, but I met my first goal today, and this is the lowest weight that I have been in quite a while. Now, if you go to my banner, you will see a picture of me a little heavier. That was from December 2024, so that's been less than a year ago. And the other picture you'll see me in this shirt is a picture that I actually took a few minutes before I recorded this video. So it is a picture today. Today is July 24, 2025. And there's a huge difference between the two pictures. And I want to talk about what I am doing because we all know that after 50, it is a lot harder to lose weight. You have to do twice the work to get half the results. Well, I don't necessarily think that that's true. What I am doing is not a whole lot different than what I did before I turned 50. It's just that there are a few tweaks that I have made that is making it so much easier to lose the weight, and I want to share 5 of those things with you today. The other 5 I am offering as a free printable. You can get that in the link in my description. It is free. You do not have to pay for it. You just go to the link in my description and you'll get the other 5 tips that are helping me be successful, and you'll see that the difference between me in December and me in July 24, 2025. So what are those 5 things? Well, the first thing is that I am following a ketogenic way of eating. I don't call it a diet because this is how I plan to eat for the rest of my life. It is the way of eating that makes me feel best. But listen, I am not saying everyone has to follow a ketogenic way of eating. That's my choice. It is on my list. But you do what makes you feel best. And see, here's the thing, is you need to find a way of eating that is going to make you feel good and that is sustainable for the rest of your life. Because with any way of eating, whether it's keto, whether it's carnivore, whether it is whatever else that you are doing, insert plan here. Whenever you stop it and you go back to eating whatever it is that you want to eat in the moment, of course you're going to gain weight. That is the food that you ate that got you to where you are today. So it's silly when people say, well, when you stop the diet, it's no good because when you stop the diet, you go back to eating regularly, you gain weight. Of course you will with any diet. And it's not just about all things in moderation. You need to eat clean. So when I say I eat a ketogenic way of eating, it's clean keto. What does that mean? I'm not eating keto packaged foods. I'm not eating packaged foods at all. There are very few things that I eat that have more than one ingredient. And with those things, I turn it over and I look and I see, what are the ingredients in this food? Are these normal ingredients? Can I pronounce these ingredients? Do I recognize what they are? Because if I can't pronounce them and I don't know what they are, then that item goes back on the store shelf. It does not go into my cart because that is not going to go in my body. I prefer to make all of my own food at home, and I prefer to use one ingredient foods, meaning vegetables and meats and healthy fats. That's how I make my dishes. And so on the occasion, I may grab a certain kind of cheese that may have more than one ingredient in them, but then again, I turn it over and I see, oh yes, I can pronounce these ingredients. I know what they are. Okay, this is okay to put in my body. And so you need to find those foods, that way of eating that is going to make you feel good. The second thing that I do is that I am staying hydrated. And I just got this tumbler. Now, this is not a Stanley Cup because, that's just a little bit more for my budget. I got this on Temu. I legit got this on Temu. It is very well made. It came with 2 lids, I guess, in case you lose one. I don't know. 2 straws. So this is a stainless steel. It also has a plastic straw with these silicone straw covers. There came with 2 of those. It came with a silicone boot here to keep it from slipping. And it also came with all the necessary brushes to clean the bottle and the straw. In addition to that, I got this bag so you can put it inside. See, this goes under the handle so that it holds it secure, and you can just throw it over your shoulder and take it with you like a purse. It also has a cell phone bag and, I don't know, like for your money, credit cards, whatever. And so really, if you were just popping out for the day and you didn't need a whole lot of stuff, you didn't need your whole purse, you could just put whatever in here, take the bottle with you as you go. Fantastic. I used it yesterday and I love it. All from Temu, very inexpensive, but also I am so pleased with the tumbler, and it is spill proof. I actually tested it out. I filled it up with water. I went to my sink and I just shook it like this. My son was with me, and nothing. It was great. Nothing came out. So fantastic purchase. I'm so happy with it. I'm staying well hydrated. This tumbler is 1 liter. So I know how much water is in there, so I can track my water. And so that has made me feel so good, because it's just staying hydrated actually gives you additional energy. And so we need that. Also, staying hydrated is not drinking tea. As good as tea is for your body, I don't count a cup of tea, which I drink a lot. Personally, I love tea, but I don't count that towards my water for the day. Also, coffee in particular is not a hydration drink. It actually dehydrates you. So for every cup of coffee that you drink, you need to replace that with 1 cup of water, because the coffee does dehydrate you. So I stay well hydrated. The third thing that I'm doing is I'm getting adequate sleep. This is big for me because for a long time, I have been really sleep deprived, and it's just because of the season that I am in right now. I work from home, and I'm also doing a lot of ministry work in my church, and on top of that, I homeschool my children. So all of that combined does not really leave me a whole lot of free time. And I have been getting up at between 4 and 4:30 in the morning for a long time now. And to be honest, there's no early enough time for me to go to bed that fits our family lifestyle that will give me adequate sleep. And so I am, for the summer, because we're out of school now, I adjusted my schedule so that I am getting a solid 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep. And I'm looking at how I can adjust the schedule for this new school year coming up so that I can continue getting that sleep, because sleep deprivation causes an insulin response in your body because it raises cortisol, because it's very stressful on your body to not get adequate sleep. And so when you have the insulin response because of high cortisol output, it actually causes your body to hang on to fat, and it causes your body to store fat. And so all of the other things that I was doing was counterproductive, or at the very least, it was non-productive, because I wasn't getting adequate sleep. So this was really crucial for me in seeing some of that weight suddenly loosen and come off. On top of that, I didn't feel motivated to move. I was tired all the time. I was constantly fatigued because I wasn't getting enough sleep. And so anytime I would force myself to exercise, it had a counterproductive effect, because again, it caused even more cortisol output, which then put my body into more fight and flight and a stress response, and it was just counterproductive. And so now that I'm getting adequate sleep, I am, eating the right kinds of foods, and I feel motivated to eat the right kinds of foods, and I am moving more, which is my fourth thing on my list. I'm beginning to see positive results. So the fourth thing that I'm doing is I am moving more. Now I have a fitness tracker. This is not to promote, none of these things are affiliate links, by the way. These are all just tools that I use, and I'm just pointing them out. But my fitness tracker, it's a Xiaomi. It tracks calories spent for the day. It tracks your steps, of course, and then it tracks what they call move minutes, and it's how many minutes you've actively moved. Now, this is not me going from my kitchen to the laundry room to go fold laundry. That does not count as a move minute. It is actual intentional moving. So somehow, I guess it's because of your increased heart rate. So it knows when you're exercising. It can, because it does track, my heart rate. Then because of the increased and sustained increased heart rate, then that counts towards move minutes. And so I have goals of 7,000 steps and 30 move minutes per day. Now, a word on the steps. I know they say you need to get 10,000 steps a day to be healthy. I don't think, our bodies are way more complex than that. For some people, maybe it is 10,000. For some people, it may be 15,000 or more. For some people, 6,000 to 7,000. It's not, you can't put a number on it for the entire world population and say, this is how many steps you need to take to be healthy, because every body is individual. Every body has its individual needs. My theory is track what you're doing now and then aim to do more. So I was averaging between 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day, which I know is very low, but I also have a sedentary job. And so I set it for 7,000 for the summer, because I can move more, I need to move more, and I feel really, really good when I get on average 7,000 a day. Now that's my floor goal, meaning that is the minimum that I want to get. I want to get more if I can. Some days I can, some days I get up to, yesterday it was just under 6,900, and so okay, it wasn't 7,000, but it was pretty close to 7,000, and I was a-okay with that. And now, in addition to that, I am doing an exercise program that I purchased some years ago, and it is a 3-day-a-week program. It so it's a resistance training, strength training program, and so I'm doing that 3 days a week. And on the alternate days, so I actively exercise 6 days a week. I take Sundays off. I do get my steps in on Sundays, but I don't do any other exercise program on Sundays, because you do need to have, a rest day. But then on the alternate days, so Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I have a list of exercises that I do that are promoting good joint health, good strength training for my muscles, and just good agility. To be really honest, I feel like this, at my age, this is crucial, because I see people my age and older that struggle just to get up and walk. They just, their joints are very stiff, and they go up a flight of stairs and they're just super out of breath. I know my husband and I both, when we come downstairs in the morning, we're going down the stairs sideways, hanging onto the rail. That is sad. At 50 years old, that is sad. 50 is not old. 50 really is the new 30. And even when 50 was 50, and I mean 50 being 50, when you look at like the sitcoms and you realize, oh my goodness, these people who I always thought were so old, they're younger than me now. It was, you still have decades ahead of you, And those are decades that you want to be able to move. My children are only 15 and 13. I want to be able to move with them. I want to be able to run with them. I want to be able to play basketball with them. And I want to be able to do all of those things and not wake up the next morning feeling like I was run over by a truck, because that is just not good. I want to be agile. I want to have healthy joints. I want to have strong muscles. I want to be able to move without everything hurting. And so this is what I'm doing. Movement, I believe, is crucial, because it's not just about losing weight, it's about getting healthy. And then the fifth and final thing is accountability. I was doing most of these other things, and most of the other things that are additional on this worksheet, or on this list, I should say, that I'm offering as a free download. But nothing was moving the scale on a consistent basis, and I was doing the up and down zigzag yo-yo motion with my weight until I did this fifth thing, and that is I found accountability partners. Every day, I have two friends. We message back and forth every day. We talk about what we've done, so what movement we've done, and what foods we've eaten. And so we check in every single day. If we didn't have a stellar day, we're honest about it. It's about accountability, because listen, when yesterday, for example, the weather was changing, the air pressure was bottoming out rapidly, and I'm very sensitive to that. My body, unfortunately, is very sensitive to that. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And so I was not feeling great. My energy levels were basement. I didn't want to do anything. I did rest a lot, and I feel that is a good decision on those days. You do need to rest a lot, but so you should listen to your body, but don't listen to it too much, because I'm laying there on the couch, I'm resting, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to check in. I'm going to have to say whether I exercised or not, because the exercise is on top of the 7,000 steps. I better get up and do something. Now, I didn't do the full, so it was Wednesday, so I was doing my exercise video. I didn't do the full video. I did enough, though, that I really felt like I gave it my all, and I felt so good afterward. I really felt great, but it was the accountability that kept me doing that. Just like the accountability keeps me on track when I go to my fridge and I randomly open it up and I'm looking inside for something that sounds good, right? And this thing that sounds good is not a salad. The thing that sounds good is not is a square of cheese. It's not that. We all know what sounds good, and it's not anything that's healthy. And so I'm looking there, and then the thought comes to me, if you eat that, you're going to have to track that, and you're going to have to then send that to your accountability partners. And do you really want to do that? And I say to myself, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I shut the fridge and I move on. And so the accountability is actually what is helping to keep me on track, because you don't realize how many times in a day you just pop something in your mouth. You don't realize how many times a week you say, I'll get up and do that tomorrow. You don't realize how often you're sabotaging yourself and your goals, and you're sabotaging your progress because you just don't feel like doing the right thing in this one moment, because it is a moment and the moment is gone and we forget about it. But when we have to check in with accountability, then we realize just how often we actually make wrong choices. So I hope that these tips will help you on your journey. Be sure to stop by that link and grab the whole list of 10 things that I am doing, because I know that if you do these 10 things, you are going to see progress as well, because these are the things that bring progress. I am going to be talking more about each of these individual things in the videos to come, as well as sharing my own story as to how I began getting healthy, because I have battled chronic illness. So I want to talk about that. Also, I'm going to take you along in some shorts for when I'm doing my walking or my other exercises and things like that. So be sure to stay tuned on this channel for more videos to come.